All right, welcome to Mass Control, Module 1, Video 1. This course was originally created as an online course, and when I delivered it online, I had control over the way that my customers consumed the material. So I designed it to be consumed in little bite-sized chunks. Now, if you're like me, you probably get everything, go through all the stuff and look at 800 different things at one time and never read the directions. That's what I do anyway, right? Which is probably not the best way to go, and it's certainly not the way that I've designed this course to be used. Each module has been designed to be consumed one little section at a time, and ideally you should dedicate just one day per section of the module. Originally, each module was conceived to be a 1 week period of learning, with everything again broken down into small little bite-sized chunks. So with that said, let's begin with Module 1. Now the video I'm about to show you corresponds with Module 1, Section 1 in your book. These are meant to be used synergistically, together, all right, for you to get the maximum stuff that you can out of your investment in this course. Throughout the videos that I'm going to show you, I might reference downloadable PDFs and things that you can get from within your members area. Please don't let that throw you. Anything that would have been downloadable has now been included in physical printed format, like so, in this version of the course that you've received. So, the first video, how do we begin? With any good promotion, you're going to have to plan things out, which I know might sound a little bit weird coming from a guy like me who likes to act in spontaneous circumstances. So the video I'm about to show you outlines exactly how I planned out my very first launch. It was a launch called the Underachiever Mastery Launch. You might remember it from ages and ages ago. First time I ever tried doing this, and I'm going to go over a little bit of a launch map that my friend and then partner Ed Dale and I created while we were sitting in a coffee shop in Tokyo, Japan back in 2001. Or not 2001, 2004. Give or take 3 years, right? Anyways, it's the very first time we ever did it, and I just want to walk you through what we did so you can model it, and I'll show you what worked and what didn't work and kind of explain the whole process as we begin. Now, within your book, you're going to see a copy of the PDF that I'm referencing in the video. So I've included that for you to go along with. So please, while you're watching this, go ahead and get Module 1, Section 1's manual out so you can go through this PDF and follow along in the video. All right, let's get to it.
What you see before you in this video is a PDF that's called Underachiever Outline, and you should have this in your materials. And this is based on some handwritten notes that Ed Dale and I made in a coffee shop in Tokyo, Japan, when we were sitting around planning the launch of our very first big product, which was called the Underachiever Mastery Course. And that launch was moderately successful, and the reason I say it was moderately successful was because it only sold about $1 million worth of stuff, and it took 2 whole weeks to do it. That was a limited course, much like lots of the stuff that I issue, and I guess we couldn't possibly have sold any more than $1 million because we only were selling enough to actually make $1 million. The goal of our launch was to beat John Reese's $1 million day, but we fell short. It took us 2 weeks. But the point of my making this video for you and showing you this is to show you what it looks like when you plan out your attack on a market. And I'm going to show you this outline, and then going to show you what we're going to do it together real time using a new tool that's actually easier, in my opinion, than making outlines. But I know some people are like to have things kind of clean looking as opposed to the mind map method we're going to use, so I'm going to walk you through this. So, with that said, let me get out the pen. Alright, one thing you'll see is we've set a target date here, okay? And when you're going to do anything, I don't care if it's a launch or it's some sort of a release into a new market, or if it's just a plan of attack to get a cash flow surge, you always want to have your target date. And the reason why is because if you don't, you're just going to delay. It's just human nature. Things will come up and you're like, oh man, I'll do that next week. But if you just set out a concrete date, then you'll probably end up having your project begin or come to completion on that date. In our case, we actually ended up launching on the 30th of January, which was a Sunday, if I remember correctly, and why we chose to launch on a Sunday, I have no idea, but it still worked out pretty good. So first thing we did was get a date, right? All right, I know this is obvious, but still, we're going to get into a lot more advanced stuff. I just want to cover the basics with you, and this is critically important, so please don't skip over this. It's really hard to do mass control stuff right if you don't plan. The first step we wanted to do was filter out pre-buyers and create anticipation, aka get some opt-ins, because at this point we did not have a list. As a matter of fact, or we didn't have much of a list. I think I had a tiny little list from something. I can't even remember why I had a small marketing list, but prior to creating the Underachiever course, I used to have a list of 300,000 people in the marketing community, and I just deleted them all one day as a means to force myself to make niche marketing work. I don't really know if you should do that or not, but it worked out for me because I did make niche marketing work, and I'm going to go over one of my niche businesses in a second. So throughout this course, you're going to hear me talk about mass control money magnets. And when I say in this outline here, going back to the underachiever thing, that our goal was to generate opt-ins and to filter out pre-buyers and create anticipation, I did all of this with these, which are mass control money magnets. So basically what I'm doing, instead of just coming out and saying, hey, you got to buy stuff, I'm just giving away content. For example, the first proposed piece of content that we gave away was a viral PDF that told the Perez story. I ended up changing that, and I'll give you the actual PDFs, and I'll go over them later in the course, but we did give out 2 viral PDFs, and these were under the radar money magnets. And again, I'm going to go into greater detail on money magnets later, but that was our step 1. Now, the only way I would have really known that that was our step 1, for me anyway, was to write it down and create a plan. Now, step 2 in our plan was to create and host a free teleclass. And we ended up doing that. And the whole point of the teleclass was to talk about how I rebuilt my businesses after I was sued by the Federal Trade Commission. And we even have right here where I'm to write the script and get Alex Mondosian to host it. I actually did end up handwriting the script, word for word. Every single bit of that teleconference was scripted. I wrote it out by hand, then typed it up and gave it to Alex, who hosted it. And it was very nice of Alex to do. He really showed that he's a good friend of mine when he did that for us. Again, had I not written out this plan in outline form, or you can do it in mind map form or whatever, I would have kind of done everything sort of haphazardly and let things come along because I had a plan of attack that it worked. Then other money magnets were possible streaming videos and more streaming videos from the initial conference, which I did post some streaming videos from the initial Underachiever conference that was live, which we did in Australia. We had also planned to give away a teleclass where we interviewed some of the people who were in our Australian seminar who actually had gone on to make some money. And in fact, we had really, really impressive, great success stories from attendees who simply went to that seminar, followed the stuff that we taught them, and were already up and running and making money. Let me get my pen back out here. I erased it there. So that's where we are here. And then another good thing we were going to give away is an interview that Melissa, or Mel rather, did for Australian radio. Now, Mel was Ed's first underachiever student. She is his sister-in-law, and she created an underachiever-style website about wedding planning. And her website took off and did really, really well, and she even ended up on the radio in Australia for it, and therefore we had the recordings of that interview. So that gave great social proof and just general proof that our stuff was working, which was awesome. And the final step in our little outline here was, I have to get rid of the pen to move the camera, was to identify partners. And these were potential affiliates. So during this brainstorming process, we simply wrote down a list of all the people we thought would be great to have as our affiliate partners, and some of them we knew and some of them we didn't know at all, but we just brainstormed and wrote down who we thought would be really good affiliate partners to promote our stuff. And then I have some stuff where we talk about how to get the attention of some of these affiliate partners. Novel ideas like contact the affiliate partners by phone, mail, and email. Give them a complete outline of our marketing process and explain the unified front concept, which is something I'm going to go over with you later on in the course. but it's extremely powerful because it works in everybody's favor. It causes you to have an immediate buzz in the marketplace. Then, of course, we could FedEx the kit, which was our course, to the partners, and we would offer them 50%. And then I started talking about the tools that we could give our affiliate partners to use in promoting our product. So that is the very, very first outline I did, and you can see this is nothing really difficult or outrageously hard to do, and it took Ed and I about 4 hours to do all of this in a coffee shop in Tokyo, and it would have taken us a lot less time if we weren't on vacation, goofing off, and if we hadn't just traveled all around the world doing seminars and generally being a couple of knuckleheads. We also had John Reese with us, who, as you know, is one of the kings of all knuckleheads. So there was a lot of knuckleheadism being practiced on that trip. So that's our outline. Now I'm going to show you another video where I explain some of the components that are in this outline and go over some of the components of mass control and of dominating markets immediately that you can use and show you how they relate to this particular outline. So I'm going to end this video and urge you to watch the next video in this particular module.